Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with Dr. Reshma. I'm your host, Dr. Reshma, the Catalyst Coach. I coach and train individuals towards accelerated growth. I am on a mission to catalyze the lives of 1 million people through my personal development acceleration program. Have you ever been duped, conned, cheated on the internet? Now we're all using internet like it's just a household name. From 620 million people in India, there are 299 million people who live in the rural areas using internet. And now the numbers are going to increase to 900 million. My God, look at that. We do everything on the net. From shopping, banking, working, everything we need is there. And don't forget the OTT, yeah? Yeah. So, this increased usage has also led to an increase in cyber crimes. And from 3,377 crimes that have been reported in 2012, it has gone up to 50,000 and more. And it's rising by a long and big percentage. So these things really are a problem and we need to think about it. There are fraudsters, con people who come up with new and innovative modus operandi to scam people. People go through long term emotional and psychological trauma because of these cyber crimes. They don't know where to go, whom to approach to. What we need as a society today is to understand the cyber world, our world now. Our topic today is on cyber wellness, and this will help us understand the world better. Today we have with us Ms. Sonali Patankar, President of Ahaan Foundation and founder of Responsible Netizen. She is recently selected as an external advisory for National Commission for Women and a member of the State Commission of Women in the Committee for Online Safety. A speaker, a trainer with 2 decades of experience on working with organizations such as CRY, Salam Bombay Foundation, Mumbai Police, and many more organizations. Welcome, Sonali, on Real Talk with Dr. Reshma. It is a pleasure and a proud moment to have you with us today.
I am delighted to be a part of this discussion, Reshma. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. So let's go straight to business because it is such an important topic and we really need to get more and more information on that because my motto of this talk is creating that awareness, generating awareness among people to understand about the cyber world, the cyber crime. What are the cyber hygiene techniques that they have to follow to ensure that they are safe and their families are safe? So, Sonali, first, I would like to know from you about your journey. What was that purpose that brought you into this field?
Sure. So I'm glad you've taken this topic up because this is an emerging concern across all age groups and all economies and geographies. People are being harassed terribly in cyberspace, and the reason being our own children are terribly traumatized, are bullied, are threatened in cyberspace, and which is why we came together to work towards ensuring cyberspace becomes inclusive, happy, and safe space, especially for our children, because they are the maximum users of the internet. So I thought we were always working on mental health ever since our we were working on mental health for a long time, and we realized that ensuring mental health in cyberspace was very important because the damage caused because of cyber threats was very long term, psychological, and there is no closure that you receive to any problem that you experience in the virtual world. So it is important to educate people about cyber rights. It was important to talk to young people about protecting themselves from threats. And it was also important to talk about being responsible online or accountable for your own journey. So, in cyberspace, nobody else can take responsibility for your behavior. It is you yourself who has to be resilient enough to understand to be able to use it effectively because internet is a great power. With power comes in responsibility, which is very often ignored. So the mission was to ensure that India becomes cyber safe, especially for women and children, and that's how the entire mission began.
Awesome, on Sonali, because it is so important that we keep, even in the cyberspace, we need to ensure that our people are safe, women are safe, children are safe, right? Because I also working with children and women, I've also observed that women and children don't know where to go. I mean, it's not just about women and children; it's about anybody who's been bullied doesn't know what to do and where to go about. But I'm sure there are some cyber hygienes that we need to maintain when we talk. So, what is this whole concept of cyber wellness that you have? Tell me a little more about that.
Sure. So we're very happy to share that we've launched India's first cyber wellness center in Goa, and we aspire to launch many, many more. Cyber Wellness Center is one-stop holistic center that provides prevention and cure for online distress. So prevention is through education and awareness. Cure is psychological, legal, and technical guidance to victims of online distress because they really don't know where to go, like you said. They don't even know to identify that they've been conned, bullied, threatened online, and therefore are lost as to what remedies or solutions they could find. So, this center really provides these opportunities to victims and also empowers them with knowledge and skills to be safe. So, cyber wellness is a very broad term which encompasses all things to do with safety, hygiene, well being in cyberspace so that it becomes a safe space for all. And it is also a positive place to influence other people. So, because we have so much power with the internet, I think it is also a responsibility to spread content which is optimistic, which is positive, which is influencing others towards change and something good that they can do. So, wellness is all about being good, being accountable, being responsible, and being safe.
Lovely. Yes, it is very important for us to take the accountability, the ownership of whatever is happening. And we need to ensure that we are safe in that space that we so love now. We're all there. Then you also spoke about this whole responsibility that I really liked about it, Sonali, because it is our own responsibility. At that point of time, nobody will come to save and nobody will even understand. And very rightly, you said that many of them don't even know that they are being bullied. So, how do you maintain that cyber hygiene, Sonali? What can we
Sure.
do to maintain that cyber hygiene?
There are a lot of things that you can do. So there are different ways that you're conned on the internet. It could be an economic fraud, it could be a social media or gaming related fraud, or maybe on some app. I think the first step towards hygiene is to understand the platform you use. If you are on social media, half more than half the world doesn't know that social media is allowed only 13 and plus, whereas children here have accounts at 3 and 4-year old on their own. So there are guidelines, there are rules, there are privacy settings that need to be applied to the platforms that we use so that the account is safer, and these provisions are already made by the systems. So the first step is to understand what platform we use. The second step is to apply the filters or apply the privacy settings of that platform. For instance, if you are an under 13 child, and if you are insisting to be on Instagram, your account automatically turns into a private account so that you are not there is no infiltration from strangers, or predators are not trying to catch hold of you, so the account is secure. But it is also our own responsibility to secure our accounts. For instance, our Facebook profile guard is on, so nobody can download that image or misuse that. We can now select which image, who should see the images that we share on our online platforms. So these are filters that have been gradually built by platforms after we having worked with a lot of them to ensure safety of its users. The third most important thing to understand is learn where to report. Each one of us have for always seen at least one topic, one post, one content which is objectionable. But we foresee it, we ignore it, we don't take any action about it. When we find something objectionable on the internet, it is important to report so that it is taken down or action is taken, or at least you convey that you're not comfortable with the content that is being shared. And there are these options available to report on the platform. So if there is something that is derogatory against you, or there is derogatory on the internet and you find it objectionable, the three dots that you can go to, there is an option of report. But the most important thing there is to complete the process of reporting. For instance, on an Instagram post, if somebody has written a comment or shared a post that you find objectionable, when you report, the option scroll will ask you, why are you reporting? Is there nudity? Is there sexual content? Is there something which is radicalizing or terrorizing? Are children being caused harm to? So when you specifically report, the gravity of reporting increases and takedown is easier. So, understanding how to report correctly will lead to takedown or action taken by the platforms. These are 4 5 very important things that you must know while you use these platforms, and of course, strengthen those platforms for your own safety in your own devices.
Yeah, yeah. That is something I think we all need to understand. That whole thing is there for our own safety, where we are able to report. And many of us, like you rightly said, don't report. Even if we see something objectionable, we just ignore it and move on. But I think we may move on, we may realize it, but there'll be some child, some person out there who may not realize and get traumatized, and that, so it is very important for us to exercise that kind of thing where we report it. That's very rightly said. Now, many a times there are some frauds online that, okay, children, like economic, like you said, I recently we had a case where there was a child who said that the person just messaged the child on WhatsApp and said that, we know what you do, what are the, web series that you're seeing, and you are not old enough. And he started, telling him all these things, and he said, I know, I'll go and tell your parents, you will have to give us so much money. And the child got scared, and what the child did was, to protect himself, he was not able to tell the parents about it, and kept on, and in the end the teacher noticed. So it is very difficult to notice these symptoms where the child, is being bullied or tortured in some other. How do we ensure, as parents, as adults, that we look for those kind of symptoms, those kind of indicators?
Very important question, Reshma. So, we realize that communication within the family is the key. We don't talk to our children about the threats they may foresee. हम क्या बताते हैं बच्चों की रास्ता क्रॉस करते वक्त लेफ्ट राइट देखो. Don't talk to a stranger. Don't take chocolate sweets. Don't share your personal things with them. The same thing applies on the internet, because the internet is the highway of strangers, and you cannot befriend anybody that you don't know. This is the first rule that children must be taught very, very early. Two, I think parents also need to understand that they cannot be fearful of technology. It's going to change every single minute, and our children are going to navigate on it much better than us, because they are born in the digital age and we're still in stone age when it comes to technology. So adapt, accept technology, learn pros and cons, and justify reasons to children. For example, a similar case that we run a pan India helpline, and we get hundreds of calls across from children and adults that face online distress. So the fear that children share with us very commonly, and we've had experience of over 15 lakh children that we've educated so far. The first thing that they do is hide things from their parents, because they're fearful of their device being taken away. And if the device is taken away, you'll obviously not have access, and that padegi wo to alag hi, but that is a different thing altogether. What we teach children is, it is important to report to a trusted adult. Now we hope and pray that this trusted adult is a family member, usually a parent, but which is not. It is somebody else, it is a peer probably, where they vent out their concerns to. So, what happens in situations like this is, the peer also has the same maturity level that a child has. So, the solutions they come up with complicate the case even further, and there is no closure. In fact, the trauma is doubled. So while you take when you rely on a trusted adult and share it, you're taking a step towards closure, towards resolving that and finding a solution. That to padegi, because they are very fearful about what could happen to their child. The biggest fear people have is, मेरे बच्चे के साथ अगर कुछ हो जाता है तो what do I do? I don't even know what he's doing. I don't even know what she may land into, and that fear holds them from allowing children to access the internet. So being fearful is not going to help. Open communications allow children to express, allow them to make mistakes and come and tell you those things. So one fifth grader in one of my sessions came and told me, हमारे घर में किसी के फोन में पासवर्ड नहीं रहता है, because we have nothing to hide. And I thought that was such a critical lesson taught, because there is nothing. there is nothing to hide in the family for which you need to have passwords. Of course, when you go home, you need to have passwords to secure your devices. But we're also communicating. The child says we don't have devices when we're together. So some rules within the family where no devices while eating, uh, no Wi-Fi after 10 in the night, where all of them follow, and rules apply to everybody in the family, not just children. एवरी चाइल्ड has complained to us कि रूल सिर्फ बच्चों के लिए रहते हैं, हमें पता है मम्मी डैडी क्या करते रहते हैं, एंड हमें पता है मम्मी डैडी क्या करते रहते इज वेरी स्कैरी, because they know everything about our devices while we don't know anything happening with them. So I think
Yeah.
this open communication will only lead to more trust and build faith in children that they can speak to their parents about it, so that there is a situation that can be resolved than getting complicated. So I feel parents also need to be cautious and aware about what safety tips they need to teach their children, and not when they're 15-year-old. It needs to start at grade one, because that's when devices are given. So this is a very gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So adapt with it and understand pros and cons. Learn. In fact, we encourage parents to learn technology from children and give children the power to protect them and themselves in cyberspace. I think that works brilliantly, is what our experience has been.
Right, right. Very true. I mean, I think open communication is the key. I agree with you completely. And parental controls, and not only controls, it's also following the rules that they've made. Because, like you rightly said, सारे rules बच्चों के लिए हैं, and माँ बाप अपने वही 11 बजे तक. This is coming to a point where I noticed in between, and I had gone for a dinner, and ours was the only table that had no phones with us, and no other all tables. There were families sitting, and they all were there with each other, but not with each other. So this has become like an addiction, where everybody is all hooked on to these devices, and they don't want to leave it. Also, I've seen people carrying their devices even to the toilets and bathrooms.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So how do we deal with this kind of, because we need a space where I mean, whenever we talk about digital well-being also, right, so there is a space that you need to have, that whole balance between the online and the offline. How do we I mean, manage that? How do we go about doing that is also important, right?
So finding the media balance is very challenging, because who sets the rules? Who follows the rules? There is no set structure for it. Everybody is doing their own bit. Internet addiction, like you mentioned, is a huge concern that we're also facing, where we've received a lot of cases where we've had to hospitalize adults as well as children for dependency. I think with parents, it is important to identify red flags. ये रात भर में नहीं होता है कि आज डिवाइस दे दिया, tomorrow your child is addicted or dependent on device. There is a trend, and 90% of the parents tell us, Madam, ये phase है, child will get out of it. Let me break the myth. It is not something that a child is going to come out of overnight. So, one, identify symptoms of distress. What are they? Food habits change. Child is very lonely or cranky or very agitated, aggressive. Now, these symptoms also you will see when they're in their teenage identity crisis period, adolescent stage. But when it is device related, yani hiding the device, lying about device usage, not sharing things about the device, or working up late hours, and this works with everybody, where the child says, "Mama, project का काम की दिया है, you have to work whole night." The whole world knows कि कोई बच्चा project का काम नहीं कर रहा है. So all these symptoms are flags that need to be caught, and I think seeking help in time and screening in time is very, very important. We keep waiting for things to get better, they never get better. For instance, we've got so many cases of gaming addiction or internet addiction, where children are using devices for 18 hours a day, and throwing a lot of tantrums, aggression in the family, but there is no action taken, thinking ye kam ho jayega. So when you find there is problematic internet usage, it could be an adult, it could be a child, it is easy to just make a phone call to seek help, because help is available. When you seek help, you are resolving an issue, and it is a sign of strength. It is not a sign of weakness, because you can see distress and you're trying to help or aid the person facing that kind of a problem. So I think it is one important to pick up red flags early, to seek help in time and be aware and cautious about what is happening around you. A lot of times, parents ignore symptoms like these, and then the case escalates to a level where return is very, very difficult. So, when you can see, it is obviously your responsibility to pick up these signs and look for solutions or seek help. And taking the device away, banning the device, is not the solution. You need solutions, you need it from an expert, and you need to reach out to that person at that point in time.
Absolutely right. Sonali, I just had one more question related to this. Whenever we are talking about cyberbully or cybercrime, we see that nowadays we are downloading all the kind of apps, right? And these apps are giving away a lot of information about us. And you just download an app or something, and then you start getting calls, random calls. How do children manage that? How can we ensure that children don't get into that trap?
So, let me bust one more myth. 100% security is a myth. There is nothing that is safe 100%. But there are some guidelines that you need to follow. While you install an app, your app always asks you for certain critical permissions like personal information, location, gallery, contact list. If the app is very, very important and required, more than important, if it is necessary, you need to review the app, set those privacy systems, and then you can download those apps. They will still share the data, but you have at least the control of denying certain access to that particular app, and that power each one of us has while we install any app. When people do not use these powers, all the data is obviously taken away, and these apps will raise their hands because they said we've asked for permission and you've given it to us, so you have nothing to complain against. Which is why I think data is currency today, and it is an extremely crucial information. So, protecting data is also an individual responsibility, which is why you need to be cautious and aware of what apps you install. In fact, review your apps. See how many phones your apps have. 200 300 तो रहेंगे ही रहेंगे. If you're not using a particular app for 6 months, that means you don't need it. You can uninstall it. Data चला गया है वो तो ठीक है, but at least later on you will preserve your data. So all these factors can be protected while you're using any particular device. A good antivirus in your phone and updates of your device are very, very important. Gallery full रहती है, जगह नहीं रहती है to take an update. That means your phone will not. What is an update? The phone builds up more security features to strengthen security within your device. So an update is important, and equally an antivirus is important so that it is safer and it is protected.
Right, right, right. Thanks for that, because that is really important. We talk about safety measures and antivirus for our laptops and PCs, but we never think about the same for our Android phones, right? So that's really important. And nowadays we are like sending emails and doing all the work from through our mobiles and tabs, right? So we need that absolutely. Thank you for that. So now, when somebody is faced with this kind of bully or crime, how does one get justice? Where does a person go?
So, five things you need to do if you feel you are facing any kind of online distress, whether it is any form of harassment or cyber trolling, bullying, stalking, photo morphing, fake accounts created, or sexual harassments, any kind of harassment that you face online. The first thing you need to do is take a screenshot of that content. The most important evidence is the screenshot. When you delete report, then the content disappears. So
Okay. Are we? I think Sonali is having a problem, but yes, we need to think about. I mean, what Sonali is talking about is cybersecurity, how we secure ourselves, make ourselves safer in that space where we are so much hooked onto, right? So take these measures. And whenever we are talking about a crime that is happening, it's very important for us to take note of how we need to go about the complaining procedures. We need to be very aware. There are cyber cells, okay, available in every place, and these cyber cells will really help us deal with that situation. It's not about being quiet. Silence is not an answer where cybercrime is concerned or any crime is concerned. So you need to really go out, whether it's for your child. Don't think what will anybody say. Just don't bother about the society, but go there, complain, because today it has happened to you. Tomorrow it may happen to anybody else, right? So please, you need to ensure that you are safe and your children are safe in this space. We cannot stop people from using it, but there are measures that can be taken. We have Sonali back with us. Yes, Sonali.
I'm so sorry.
Yes,
This
Sonali.
technical
We
issues
can't
could
hear
not
you,
be able to
Sonali.
do any programs. There is a major power cut.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
So there is a major power cut due to terrible rains here, and I'm really sorry for this.
Okay. It's
So,
okay. It's okay. Yeah.
yes, so I was. Can we go back to the question again?
Yes, yes. So we can just, yeah. So I just wanted you
So
to
you're
tell
saying
where,
it's
like, a person can go, which is the place a
yeah.
person can go to whenever they face such
So,
a crime.
can we go back to the same question?
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Where do you report?
Yeah.
Thing is, take the evidence of whatever you see online, which is causing the trauma and harassment to you. Two, it is very important for you to report on the platform. So, if you are being harassed on a social media platform, on a platform saying you are being harassed with complete procedure that you need to follow. The third is you need to take this complaint down and report it to your nearest police station, where you can say that you've been harassed with a handwritten complaint and the evidence of screenshot printed and reported to the nearest police station. You can escalate the case to us and share that case on our WhatsApp helpline number, where we can help you, guide you further, provide counseling if you're very, very distressed, or provide legal guidance if you need any, and show you the direction of how to go further. You can also report to our government helpline, which is the reporting portal, which is www.cybercrime.gov.in, and that is a portal that accepts all form of cybercrimes online. You get a ticket when you report there, you can follow up on that ticket. I think it is important to raise your voice at the right time and follow reporting procedures the way they need to be.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonali, for that. It's really important for every one of us here to understand where they can get help and justice as well. So, thanks for that. So, Sonali, we'll go to a trivia round where I'll be asking you one line, one word answers. Okay. So, it's going to
I
be
just
interesting.
examined the current Jover show somehow.
Yeah. So, what is your mantra when you are in the cyber world? What do you do to ensure cyber safety?
So I think before I click, I don't share anything without thinking is the most important thing, and I make sure my privacy settings are very high.
Okay. One parental control that you have used to help keep your kids safe.
Openly communicate with your child, share your concerns, and listen to the child patiently and trust them.
Okay. One technique you've used to avoid a fraudster.
Block, straight away block.
Okay, block. That's really nice. Yes.
Block
And
and
what is
report, I would say.
block and report? Awesome. And what is your best advice to children and adults to keep them safe?
So I think it is your individual responsibility to be safe online and to protect yourself from any kind of harm. Plus, you are great influencers, and internet is an amazing space to be on. So create the influence where people can follow you for the good that you do, and make internet a happy space for all.
Lovely. One tip, the last question, one tip that you use to balance your online and offline life.
That is a huge challenge. Uh, it is difficult to give you one tip on that, but I just switch the data off. I think
Okay.
that makes it easier.
That makes it easy. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Sonali. That was really awesome. The trivia round was won. I don't have a hamper, but you have won the hamper.
Thank you so
So,
much.
thank you so much for creating this awareness on cyber wellness and letting people know what are the necessary things they can do to keep the crime away and ensure their wellness. Because here we are talking about all kinds of wellness. We are talking about well-being of a person, right? Now, cyber wellness is very, very important, very, very key to our life, right? So thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed on this show today with us. So
Of
thank
course, it
you.
was a pleasure being here. Everybody, stay online, stay safe, and take care of yourself. Reshma, it's been a pleasure connecting with you after many, many years, and thank you for this platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you lovely souls out there, hope you have gained a lot of knowledge and will apply the wisdom in your day to day life. Enjoy the internet and take the benefits of various platforms, but do ensure your safety and the safety of your family. Feel free to connect to me on the email shared here. Show your love and encouragement by liking, commenting, and sharing. I'm more than happy to get more suggestions on topics that you would want me to cover during my talk shows. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. And as usual, we promise to always keep it real. Bye for now, take care, and see you in the next episode. Love and light to all.